Hi dear students, so welcome to this 2021-22nd academic year and I heartily welcome to this 10th standard. Okay, see, so as per government rule, so we are also starting online classes for 10th standard from this July 1st. Hence we are reaching you through these classes. So in this class, so I'll go to discuss some basic concepts of chemistry. Basic concepts of chemistry, the branch of the science. It's not necessary to introducing me once again. As you know, this is your science teacher Anand. Let us start. Okay. Come to this basic concepts of chemistry. See students. Our science says that science means is a systematic study of matter. As you know, understood. Science is a systematic study of matter. The chemistry, this part starts from this concept matter. Understand? The systematic study of matter is called a science. Systematic study is nothing but this science that answers the three questions, fundamental questions which are arranged in your mind when you see the strange material. They are what, why, and how. What, why, and how. These are the three main fundamental questions which arise in all, in billion number of people and also in students when you see the strange material. Understand? So here we say matter. Matter means what? Anything that occupies space and has mass. Anything that occupies space and has mass, we call it as a matter. And we said this matter is made up of atoms. This matter is made up of atoms. Understand? Atoms. What is an atom? It is the smallest particle of a matter. Smallest particle of a matter. This atom, this word is given by a Greek scientist, a Democritus. Democritus. According to Democritus, matter is made up of atoms. It's a Greek scientist. But in a Greek language, atom, its meaning is indivisible particle. Atom meaning is in the Greek language indivisible particle. Our ancient saint Maharshi Kanada also told that matter is made up of paramanu. He used that word paramanu. Parama means what? Final. Anu means what, you know? Particle. Final particle. Understand? According to our Maharshi, Kanada Maharshi, ancient saint of our India, he told that matter is made up of paramanu. Paramanu is a Sanskrit word. According to this, parama means final and indivisible. Parama means final or indivisible. Anu means a particle. Paramanu means final particle or indivisible particle according to our Indian saint Maharshi Kanada. After that, in 12th century, Greek scientist Democritus, he also accepted the theory given by Maharshi Kanada, and he also told that matter is made up of indivisible particle. Yes, what he told Marshikananda, he was right. Matter is made up of an indivisible particle. But instead of Paramanu, Democritus, he introduced the new word, that is a atom. That is a atom. Understand? I told already, in a Greek language, atom meaning is indivisible particle. He proposed this theory in the 12th century. And again, in the 18th century, the England chemist John Dalton proposed atomic theory. John Dalton proposed atomic theory. This is an England chemist. According to that England chemist John Dalton, he proposed that atomic theory. That theory says that every matter is made up of an indivisible particle called atoms. Atoms. Then he told that more than two atoms together combined, then they form what? Compound. According to John Dalton's atomic theory, he told that more than one atoms of different matter combines together form what? Compound. And he told that atoms cannot be divisible. Atoms cannot be divisible. Even John Dalton also told that atoms cannot be divisible. But in upcoming 20th century scientists, they clearly studied atomic theory given by this John Dalton, and one question arises in those mind, which is that why did these atoms cannot be divisible? ಯಾಕೆ ಪರಮಾಣುವನ್ನು ವಿಭಜನೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಹುಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತವ್ರ ಮೈಂಡಲ್ಲಿ. ಯಾರಲ್ಲಿ? 20th century scientists. So in that way, the scientists, they started to make experiments and they finally get succeed, and they finally divide an atom. They finally divide the atom. After dividing an atom, there is a wonder is there. They found again 3 subatomic particles, and finally they proved to whole world this atom is made up of 3 subatomic particles. They are proton, neutron and electron. So these are the 3 fundamental particles of an atom. That means atom is made up of proton, neutron and electron. Very important code word is there to remember the fundamental particles of an atom, that is pen. Pen means P-E-N. P indicates what? Proton, E indicates electron, N indicates neutron. Understand? This is a pen. Pen means this word that indicates what? The fundamental particles of an atom. Clear or no? Okay, let it. So these proton, neutron and electron. So after discovering this subatomic particles of an atom, so this 20th century scientists, they put forth a big milestone in the branch of chemistry. In the branch of chemistry. After the invention of these proton, neutron and electron, so many branches are again arised in our chemistry. Now the branch of this chemistry becomes very huge. So very lot is to understand in this chemistry. Very lot is. Just I am saying a simple, a basic concept related to this matter and atoms. Understand? And they told that in an atom, protons are positively charged. Protons are positively charged. Neutrons are neutral in state. They are neutral in state. Neutral is nothing but they have no any charge. They have no any charge. But protons have positive charge. And electrons have negative charge. Electrons have negative charge. They also go like this. Protons have positive charge, electrons negative charge, neutrons are neutral in state. So electrons are discovered by, who is that scientist? J.J. Thomson. Then neutrons are discovered by James Chadwick. Proton is discovered by Goldstein. Understand? So, like 20th century scientists, they divide the atom and they shows the three subatomic particles to whole world. They are paired, means proton, electron and neutron. They also told that they have also charges. Protons are positively charged particles, electrons are negatively charged particles, neutrons are neutral in state. Clear or no? Okay. Then where are these protons, electrons, or neutrons, and how these three subatomic particles are arranged in an atom? So this question is again arised in a scientist mind. So in that way, one scientist came, Rutherford, Ernest Rutherford. He tried to find the answer for this question: how these three subatomic particles are arranged in an atom. He made a simple experiment, which is simply famous as a gold foil experiment. He just used a thin gold foil. He just passed the alpha rays. He just passed the alpha rays on this thin gold foil. This is called a thin gold foil experiment. Thin gold foil experiment. After conducting this thin gold foil experiment, he gave an atomic structure. He gave an atomic structure which is commonly called as Rutherford model of an atom, which is commonly called as famous as Rutherford model of an atom. According to Rutherford, the center place of atom, which consists of positively charged particles, and here he called it as a nucleus. The center of an atom is called nucleus, and this nucleus is mainly consists of only protons, that means positively charged particles. Where is electrons? He showed electrons are revolve around this proton. Electrons are revolve around this protons. So this is called Rutherford model of an atom. This is a Rutherford model of an atom. Understand? According to Rutherford, this is a nucleus and electrons are revolving around the nucleus. Okay? So this is called Rutherford model of an atom. Understand? Says students. After that, Rutherford atomic theory. What is that? Rutherford model of an atom. The next scientist came, who's that? Niels Bohr. Niels Bohr came. He worried about that electrons. Yes, Rutherford told that what? Electrons are revolving around the nucleus. And how? How they revolve around the nucleus. While revolving around the nucleus, if the clash happens between that electrons, so that clash is completely destroys an atom. If the electrons are bombarded each other while revolving around the nucleus, understand? If the electrons are bombarded each other while revolving around the nucleus, so that bombarding of electrons completely destroys an atom. But it does not happen. So this leads to that question: how these electrons are revolving around the nucleus. To find this answer, Niels Bohr made an experiment and finally he gave an atomic structure. Which is called Bohr model of an atom. According to Niels Bohr, he told that electrons revolving around the nucleus. How? In their specific orbit. They have their own orbit. Likewise, in our solar system, consider our solar system. The planets are also revolving around the sun. How? In their own orbit. Consider our Earth. Earth also revolve around the sun. Earth has its own orbit. Every planet, even Venus, Mars, Mercury, Earth, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, all these planets they have their own orbit. They revolve around the sun in their own orbit. Likewise, in an atom, electron also revolve around the nucleus in their specific orbit. He not told only about that revolving of electrons. He also told about, see, this is the what nucleus. This is what nucleus. According to Niels Bohr, Rutherford only told that nucleus contains only positive charged particles. After this Niels Bohr, he told that nucleus contains even protons and neutrons. Nucleus contains protons and neutrons. These protons and neutrons together called as nucleons. What? Nucleons. They are called as nucleons. Okay. See, he showed the orbits of an atom like this. And we give the names to that orbit. K cell, this is a K cell, this is a L cell, and this is a M cell. Cell or orbit. Okay. So he showed the orbits of an atom. And he also told about each orbit that accommodates specific number of electrons. Each orbit that accommodates specific number of electrons. How so? How can we understand this? Very simple. To know the electrons present in each orbit, he give a quantum number, that is a 2n square. He give an quantum number. He give an what? Quantum number. Understand? By using this quantum number, we can easily identify the number of electrons present in each orbit. I will give one example for this. See students. See, consider this K cell. It is the first cell of this atom. Okay, K is the first cell. Here we are going to calculate the number of electrons present in a K orbit. Okay. See, quantum number is there. 2n square is there. What is that? 2n square. Here that n indicates the what? Number of orbit. That indicates number of orbit. Okay. Which orbit is there? K orbit. K is the first cell, first orbit. Like, okay. This is equal to 2 into 1 square 1. 2 into 1 square 1, that is equal to 2. That means K cell consists of 2 electrons. K cell accommodate maximum 2 electrons. Similarly, you can calculate the number of cells in L cell. It is the second cell. K cell is the second cell. Use the quantum number. As you know, n indicates the number of that cell. Okay, 2. L is the second cell. 2 square. 2 into 2 square what is 4. 2 into 4 8. That means L cell accommodates what? L cell accommodates 8 cell total. Okay. So likewise, this is proposed by Niels Bohr, and for this theory, Niels Bohr he got a Nobel Prize. Understand? For this work, for this important work, Niels Bohr he got a very award. That is what is Nobel Prize. He got a Nobel Prize for this work. So this is the final atomic structure. Okay, it was proposed by Niels Bohr. Understand? According to this Niels Bohr, in an atom, a nucleus is consists of only protons and neutrons. They are together called nucleons, and electrons revolve around the nucleus in their specific orbits, in their own orbits. And he also told that each cell that accommodates a particular number of electrons. If you want to calculate the number of electrons in each orbit or cell, he gave what? Quantum number. By using this quantum number, you can easily identify the number of electrons present in each cell. Understand? Okay, students. So this is about the atomic structure. Okay. In our next classes, we will discuss about more concepts of chemistry Okay, I hope you understand this basic atomic structure. Okay, thank you. Thank you, students, once again.